I will always hate working a 9 to 5. I just want to be free. Ever since I graduated college, I hated every minute of having to work a corporate job. I did have a job in college and I worked at a bakery. However, it wasn't all that bad. I don't know what the difference is between working for a small bakery that wasn't a huge corporate lifestyle or just having to go to the typical 9 to 5 and sitting in a cubicle all day. This lifestyle isn't normal for a slightly evolved primate. Like, whose ideas was this, anyways? To basically turn us into an assembly line in order to survive. Like, I will do everything in my power to never work another 9 to 5 again. I don't care if I have to work 10,000 hours doing something I genuinely enjoy to get out of this. The idea of having to wake up, eat, piss, shit, and shower just to go to a place that I cannot stand, only to be around people I do not like for most amount of time. There are a few cool coworkers that I still am friends with to this day. And honestly, I don't like going to a job only to make enough money to survive. I think I'd rather borderline be homeless and have more freedom and maybe have a little bit more survival skills than have my whole day basically be gone working a 9 to 5 in a cubicle. And then the only time I have energy is after work. And like, I barely even have that because all that energy has to go into making food or working out or just decompressing for a little bit. Like, I don't really have time for my hobbies anymore, which basically keep me alive at this point, which is the only reason why I enjoy getting up in the morning for the most part. Like, I barely have time for my friends or family, and thank God I don't have any kids because personally, I couldn't even imagine that. Then the only time when you can finish everything is the weekend. You have 2 days. You have a Saturday and a Sunday, assuming you do work Monday through Friday. And that's the only time you basically can do your chores and clean your place and see people and have time for yourself and time for activities. And basically, once you're done sleeping, you only have not that much. You don't have a lot of time left to really be doing anything on the weekends. And don't even get me started on traffic because what the hell is that? It feels like traffic's getting worse every year. It's like people just keep moving in this damn place. I don't even know. Like, I don't know why everyone wants to move here. It's not that great of a place. To be honest, they're all relatively the same if you ask me. But yeah, because let's see, you go to a job from 9 to 5, and then you got to be stuck in traffic during those times too, which means you have to leave earlier. And when you're driving home, you have to be stuck in traffic. So it's just kind of like, I mean, it kind of always depends on when you actually do leave. Because there are times when I did work a 9 to 5, but technically I worked like the night shift, so I didn't really hit all that much traffic, which was really nice. So sometimes the commute can be bearable if you live close enough, which it would be nice, but most people do not. I heard people would be driving from like all the way like an hour away, and I'm like, what the hell are you doing? I'm like, you are wasting your life driving here. And then you got to worry about your car mileage and all that stuff. And oh my Lord, have mercy. Like personally, I liked going to school more than liked working in corporate America. At least I was learning more things throughout the day, and it felt like my brain was doing something because I was learning new skills and new information, like writing and reading, or if I was learning like a new software or something, and or if I was like just I don't know, I was just learning like most of the time, and that was enjoyable to me because I personally enjoy learning. I don't want to feel like a idiot most of the time, even though I probably am. But every time I was at a corporate job, always feel like I had to pretend to be busy, and God forbid I would go on my phone just to look at things or go on social media for a little bit just to entertain myself because it is not productive. I get that, but like still, if I was learning something new at my job, I learned it relatively quickly because these are like super easy skills, and and then I just got bored because I was like, well, now what? I'm decent at my job. I don't strive to be like the top 1% of this place because I don't like being here. So it's like, it's hard for me to fake it. I can't do that. It's really hard. Once I decided to get bored with the job, I would just hop onto a different one. And I can see why my generation has a tendency to job hop because we were fed like so much dopamine at the beginning of our ages to the point where like this feels like complete boredom. But I would argue boredom is actually good for you, but that would be a topic for another video. But yeah, I would job hop quite a bit. And it was just hard for me to stick at one place because I just realized I hated all of it. It didn't matter what I was doing. I just had to suck it up and be like, all right, I got to make my living, and then I can do things on the side and just be a little bit exhausted throughout the week and slowly, I don't know, try and decompress through my hobbies and all that stuff and just force myself to create and try and get out of this as quickly as possible. Personally, I don't want to suck it up like the rest of the world. I'd rather make my own work and be my own boss, even if I'm not making like a ton of money. Or if like, even if it requires like more work, at least I'll have like a sense of purpose and I'm making money for myself rather than making money for someone else. Because at the end of the day, that doesn't really make much sense. When I was working, I preferred working for small businesses because one, they were just more chill, and I don't know, it just felt more genuine compared to like a corporate structure where you had all these managers and nobody really knew who you were or like did anything for you. I mean, at the end of the day, you're just a number to all these corporations anyways, so it's just like I don't really care if I job hop or like lie on my resume because one, they're not going to go out of their way to even figure that stuff out, considering they have AI just doing it for them now. I don't know. I feel like they just lie to you all the time anyway. So like, what's the point? Like as much every time I worked a sales job, they always tell me the numbers of the highest earner, but I'm just like, yeah, but the highest earner is a freaking psychopath that probably works like 80 hours a week. Just because you have one outlier to them, that's not the median of the income of this company. But anyways, so it's not like I don't like working. Like towards the end of college, I actually knew what I wanted to do, which was a little bit unfortunate because I went through 4 years of college and got a degree that I didn't really know what to do with. However, I still liked what I was learning, but towards the end of it, I was like, oh, I want to do creative work. Like I want to be in this creative field. And it took a while for me to put myself out there, but I can't really take it any longer. Like you have to work for your entire life anyways, and then you can't even enjoy the fruits of your labor until like 65. So I might as well just work my entire life to something I enjoy because that will be the fruits of my labor. Like it's odd how they say that our generation is lazy, but we're the most business oriented generation because we know that this is a load of crap. It's also weird that they tell us that we're lazy, but every time we tell people we want to become an artist, we want to become an actor or a musician, they just tell us that's going to require a lot of work and then they don't really support us. I'm just like, what? I'm like, what is the point of all that? Of course it's going to take a lot of work, but like if I want to pursue it, I'm going to put in the work. Like just because you couldn't live your dream or at least try to live your dream doesn't mean you have to fucking shit on us for trying to do it. I think our generation, so my generation, Gen Z, would rather at least try and not regret it towards the end of their life, assuming depends on how long we even live at this point. But I don't know, compared to like the boomers who were just like, yeah, here you go, and all that stuff, and just work their typical 9 to 5 while getting by and beat their wives or whatever. I don't even know what they did back then. But anyways, like I don't know, if you're the top of 1% of anything, you're willing to put in the work and meet the right people, then I believe you can just make it for yourself, even though the system is basically rigged. But I'll still try because what else is there to do in my life anyways? I don't have anything better to do. So it beats working a 9 to 5, I'll tell you that much. And because that is a living hell if I've ever seen one. And God knows I will never want to do that again. But anyways, guys, that is the end of this video, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Peace.